You're doing everything right. You went to school, got a good job, you're building a quote unquote good life. You're doing your best to serve God and others well. Yet there's a restlessness in your spirit as you wonder, is this it? Or maybe you say out loud, there has to be more to life than this. Journey mate, if this is you, stay with me because what you're dealing with is not a lack of gratitude, depression, or burnout. You have a God given calling, and your body is literally keeping the score. It's trying to point something out to you by alerting your attention. I've had this happen multiple times throughout my life when I'm not building the ministry and business God has called me to. And yes, there were pockets that the Lord wanted me to focus on a job or a credential or a degree. But in that there was a grace, and when I wasn't locked in appropriately, I would wrestle with certain self-sabotaging habits such as dealing with overeating or emotional eating to cope with being out of alignment. I was dealing with exhaustion that sleep couldn't fix. Things like uncontrollable weight gain, definitely attached to those eating habits, and an anxiety that sat in my chest for what seemed like no reason at all because I couldn't name it. So if you are currently in this position today, I'll be changing exactly what changed my life forever. I'm going to break down a 5-step process to kind of rethink what you are going through and appropriately handle it. But before I get into that, if this message is speaking to you, go ahead and hit the like button and tell me, in what area are you feeling this restlessness, this emptiness, this almost turning in your spirit that's alerting you to something. I'll be checking out the comments and getting back with you because it's very important. So let's get into point one. Point one is we have to name the lie. So, sister, I want to hold hands with you and tell you that there is absolutely nothing wrong with you. In fact, repeat that after me. There is nothing wrong with me. Repeat it again. There is nothing wrong with me, because right now the enemy would love to deceive you and have you spending the next 10 years trying to fix yourself when the real issue lies in how you are or are not carrying your cross. And that could be quickly adjusted. In fact, what I'm going to share will help you with that, okay? So we've been taught that when we feel a sense of emptiness, we need more gratitude, more discipline, more prayer. And yes, in certain pockets of our lives, that is important. But in this case, the emptiness you're dealing with, it is not a character flaw. It's an indication that in some way you are out of alignment with what God has called you to do or has predestined you to do. And I get it, because sometimes we set our lives up and we have these plans and we want to focus on the plans even when they're creating voids. But according to Proverbs 19:21, many are the plans in man's heart, but it is the Lord's purposes that will prevail. So the deep truth here is that although you could build a life based on your own plans, if it's outside of God's will, it won't lead to wholeness. So if you want your cup filled, you need to realign with the Lord. Let's get into point two. Your body is not the problem, it's just the messenger. And the messenger is saying there is a problem. Think about it like this. When you're doing what you are aligned with, you feel energized, clear-headed, time flies by. But when you're doing the things that no longer belong in your life, you're exhausted. It actually drains you. You deal with headaches. And you want to just dismiss it as burnout or weakness, right? But it's not that. It's the nervous system using chronic fatigue or chronic fatigue, stubborn fat, brain fog, or anxiety to let you know something is off. And while I do suggest you go to a clinician and get that checked out, a lot of times that's just a physical cost of living a life outside of what God has called you to. Why? Because your body is literally designed to carry out the calling on your life. There is a specific grace you have to carry your calling. So when you're heavy burdened like this and it's not working for your physical vessel, that's also an indication that this isn't it. Journey mates, if this is resonating with you, this is a safe space. So I'd love for you to truly, truly, truly be clear and talk to me about why are you out of alignment. And if you see a sister that's struggling, before I get to that comment, go ahead and encourage her. Okay, journey mates? All right, let's get into point number 3. Are you carrying your cross or living life on your own terms? So let's just look at this from a biblical construct really quickly. To carry your cross means to completely surrender your will, your desires, your comfort, your control, and embrace God's will will. It's like the Lord's Prayer, thy will be done, thy kingdom come. We also see this in Matthew 16, verses 24 through 25. Now, Jesus is the best example of this, because Jesus' mission was to fulfill everything involved with the cross. So to sacrifice his life, to have a posture of surrender and obedience to God his entire duration on earth. If you want Bible verses to study about this, I have them in the description down below. Check them out. And the truth is at times you're not carrying your cross well, and that can be very exhausting because you're out of alignment with what you were predestined to do. Now, sometimes this could be a bit confusing because you might not identify the difference between your career versus your calling. Now, your career, it pays the bills, and sometimes it can be a part of your calling, but your calling is typically what pours into your community, what pours into your household, or the areas in which you were once bound and you're setting captives free. And that can be something that the Lord will use to bless you in the marketplace so that you can really mobilize it. Other times it's not that. So a hard truth here is that you can be in the industry you're called to and still not be doing what God called you to do it because your heart posture is off, or because you're not doing it his way. In fact, you can be doing good work that, yes, people will give you praise and you'll get accolades for it. But if it's not what God called you to do, how he wants you to do it, you'll still feel this emptiness. I'm thinking about Romans 8:28, where it talks about the purposes God has for us and how God works all things out for our good, but it has to be in alignment with him, my sister. So what if that's the issue? Are you willing to lay down your plans to get in alignment with him, or are you going to continue to remain stuck here? Point 4, God designed your body for a particular purpose. Imagine needing to be swimming in one direction, and there is a flow there. There is a grace there. There is alignment with the Holy Spirit there. And that's doing the exact assignments God has purposed you to do. And that's being in community with the right people at the right time. And that's being at the right houses, the right locations, and being in decency, in order. Or you could choose the opposite. You can choose to swim upstream, and now you're fighting up against the tides. And there's all of this misunderstanding and lack of alignment because you're not aligned with God. Okay? This is what we go through. And you feel that emptiness and those cravings. And let me tell you like this, sis, you could eat. You could have a snack. You could drink the smoothies. You could be on a diet. You could do all of that. You could work out, but you cannot outwork a lack of alignment. You cannot outwork not being in the grace of God, because it will be impossible to truly steward your vessel well. And I know that might sound crazy coming from me, because you know I'm all about being a good steward and health, nutrition, alignment. But what I'm trying to bring you to is that your body, soul, as well as your mind have to be in alignment with the Holy Spirit. That's a spirit-led life. And if all three are not moving in the same direction, you're again that fish swimming upstream instead of the fish swimming in flow of traffic. Unless you're salmon, I think they swim upstream if I'm not mistaken. So the real healing happens when you are in the right position. And point 5. Journey mates, this is kind of the hardest part, because in this phase you really have to get clear on what to reach towards as you navigate the emptiness. And many times it is food, it is counterfeit purposes, it is counterfeit opportunities and contracts and deals, and they shine, they release dopamine, they're exciting, and it creates a lot more enthusiasm than fully surrendering to the Lord. And I just want to encourage you, because these are seasons where many women of God blow up like houses. And I say that not being shady, I've done it myself. But when you're not managing your emotions well, you feel the weight and the burdensomeness of a particular journey that you're in, right? There is a void that you will feel. And if you don't feel it with one form of sin, you'll feel it with another form of sin, because the true solution is to pick up your cross and lay down your life all over again and say, you know what, Lord? Okay, so first and foremost, you need to eat balance, right? And you need to mind how you eat if you're a comfort eater, because this is a season where you could catch a lot of weight really, really fast. And I'm saying catch it like you're not gaining it, gain a lot of weight. Because we make decisions, right? It don't happen out of nowhere. It's not a ball that was just up in the air and we knee-jerk reaction caught it. No, you can gain a lot of weight really, really fast here. So we need to manage that as we process through this discomfort. But number 2, as we move through this, you have to get your heart posture ready for the work ahead. because as I was preparing the script and thinking about this particular video, it was clear as day that most of the time we know what God is pointing us to, especially if you're a sister that you fast, you pray regularly, you're in the Lord's bosom, you know, it's just something within you that doesn't want to do it his way, doesn't want to say yes fully, without compromise, without condition, right? And so yeah, the fullness won't come, the emptiness and restlessness will remain until you get to this place of like, okay, I trust you and I'm going to do it your way regardless of what it sounds like, feels like, looks like, etc. Once we get to that place, think about when you feel your most authentic, your most at peace, your cup most filled, right? And take that particular thing to the Lord and ask him, hey, is this what you want me to be focusing on? Is this how you want me to serve others? Is this how you want me to advance the kingdom? And be honest if what he tells you is not what you want to hear. Because sometimes that yes is overwhelming because it's not what we feel like we can handle or what we feel capable of doing well. And sometimes the no is discouraging because we want to do that thing. So work through all of this with him, okay? And in the peace, you'll be able to lock in on this obedience. And as you walk out whatever he's telling you to walk out, the emptiness you're wrestling with will be filled because you're finally in alignment. So in closing, journey mates, if this is really resonating with you, two things. One, check out the rest of the Spirit-Led Life series, okay? I go deep into different aspects of having this Holy Spirit, mind, body, soul alignment with the Lord so that you can experience everything he has for you in the land of the living, right? And that link will be down below. Second to that, I have a 6-month wellness program, coaching program called the Spirit-Led Life, where we go deeper into health, your calling, healing on a one-on-one and a group basis. So if you are ready to walk through that with a coach that could empathize, but also is like professional and knows how to kind of curate the journey through this process, go ahead and check that out down below. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. If you know a sister that needs this, share it with her. Don't let her suffer in silence alone.